Hey, what's up, guys? This is the week of SEMA. SEMA is officially going to start tomorrow on Tuesday, runs Tuesday through Friday. I'm flying out tomorrow morning and basically just want to go ahead and before we get to everything, just want to sit down and chat with you guys, kind of go over like what all we can expect. I've looked through the list of different exhibitors as far as different companies are going to be going and presenting some stuff. I have an idea of some of the things that some of the companies are going to be showing, but not everything. So it's going to be a surprise to me as well. But before we fly down tomorrow, I'm actually going to start packing up and everything right after this live stream. I figure we'll just kind of like sit down and chat. We'll go over what all the different companies are going to be showing, who is going to be there, who's not going to be there. Um, I'd love to hear kind of your questions, like what you'd like to know from the different companies and stuff. And I'll also share with you guys, of course, like where I'm going to be posting this stuff. The main places where I'm going to be posting things. First, I'll probably be posting stuff to social media. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, that kind of stuff. You can follow me there at Vortex Radar for all the different options. And that'll be good to get like really quick info. Just, grab my phone and just like, hey, here's a new detector. Here's a new dash cam. Here's 2, 3 new features about it or something. Just like super quick, no editing or prep or anything. Just like, here's a cool thing, kind of as I go. And then the next thing I want to start publishing like a little bit more information. So maybe like I'll sit down for lunch or something, right? Got my food over here that I'm eating. And while I'm doing that, grab my laptop and just like post some nice photos and do some write-ups with some additional information. So that will go onto my website, vortexradar.com. And then also on the forums. I'll be posting some stuff there as well. I might do some of the stuff from the phones on the forum as well as I can, but I'll kind of sit down and get some more information from you guys. And then finally, the full videos, that's definitely going to take more time. I'm going to do my best to get as much of that stuff as I can live, like maybe at the end of the day when I come home, maybe just like order DoorDash or something, just sit in the hotel and like work on videos or something, I'll even minimize like going out to dinner with people and stuff. My son's birthday, he actually turns 3 like right after I come back from SEMA. So I'm not going to have as much time after I come back, which is usually when I sit down and like crank out a lot of the videos and get them published afterwards. And so I'll do my best to get as much of the stuff I can posted while I'm there. Which is why maybe I'll be posting some more stuff like on the forums and the website and stuff, just because that's a lot quicker and easier to get up kind of in the heat of the moment. So with that said, I guess let's just kind of like run through all the different stuff. Starting first with radar detectors, then we'll move on to dash cams. Laser jammers, we usually don't have companies show up for that. So it's mainly like radar stuff and then a bunch of dash cams. So on the radar detector side, looks like we've got Uniden there, and then we've got Cedar, who's Escort and Cobra. Redenso's not there, so no Thea stuff. Redenso hasn't come in a while. Stinger never goes to those. I don't think I saw Whistler on the list. They've come sometimes in years past, but I haven't seen them in a while. I'd have to double check on that. Valentine never goes to these shows. So it looks like it's mostly just Uniden, which is actually going to be the main thing that I'm interested in seeing, and then also Escort and Cobra. So starting off with Uniden. The big stuff for them, they've kind of hinted at the new Uniden detectors with Wi-Fi capabilities. So the R4W and the R8W. I've got a lot of questions about it. We've seen some FCC information about it. Looks like they basically got a Wi-Fi chip inside 2.4 gigahertz, similar to like Escort's detectors with Wi-Fi. What kind of improvements would that offer? Would that give us like over-the-air updates, for example? That might be one of the main things. I don't know if they're going to do some of the other stuff like cloud capabilities, for example, or speed limit display on the face of the detector. Maybe it'll be mostly updates, but we would have to see kind of like what all they want to do. Does Uniden have plans to introduce maybe their own apps for this kind of stuff? Also with some of their existing detectors like the R4 and the R8. Well, what does it mean for those detectors? Will they continue to be sold? Will they be discontinued and replaced by the Wi-Fi versions? I don't know. What's the price of the new Wi-Fi one's going to be? If Uniden maybe wants to sell like 2 different ones like R8 and R8W, would they be at maybe like different price points or something? Would that mean raising the price of the R8W or lowering the price of the R8? I don't know. So I'm just kind of curious like how everything is going to stack up. Also, as far as their laser jammers, what's the story with that? Like to ask about that every time I go to the show. Like they've got the R9 laser jammers, or I guess R9W, speaking of which. Is there going to be a Wi-Fi version of the R9? Would we have to replace CPUs? Like how would all that kind of stuff work? It's easier to replace a windshield mount detector than it is a custom installed one. So like the laser jammers, are they going to release the standalone laser jammers for the R4 and the R8 and then also the Wi-Fi versions? When is that planned? What's the pricing going to be? Availability? Are they actually going to do it? Like all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that I want to see, and that'll be one of the first things that I'll go to when I fly out there tomorrow on Tuesday. Definitely want to go out and check out a lot of the unit and stuff, just because, well, Sounds like they might have a lot of stuff. I don't know. I'm definitely looking forward to the Wi-Fi versions of their detectors and just seeing what all of that is like. So definitely stay tuned for that. I'll post it on social media and the forums and website, and I'll work on getting a video out and all that kind of stuff. Maybe even multiple videos if it winds up being a lot. I don't know. Maybe just one overview video. We'll see when we get there. As far as Escort, obviously, if they have anything new to announce, that's always fun and exciting. So if they do, we'll be taking a look at that. New detectors, new, I don't know, whatever's new, right? I don't know if they'll have new jammers. They've got the ZR6, which I haven't tested yet. Same idea as the ZR5. And I've tested the Redline CI jammers. So it's the same thing, just different like UI hooks up to the windshield mount detectors. Maybe take a look at that. I think one of the big things, of course, with the Escort is like a lot of questions on, hey, we've been seeing some issues with the latest firmware. We've been reporting that. It's been a variety of different things. I ran my Redline CI the other day, and I'm getting like several KA falses on weird frequencies and stuff. Just weird things going on that you wouldn't expect from like a high-end flagship detector, so kind of like what the story is with that. I'm sure Escort is behind the scenes working on testing, figuring all this stuff out, figuring out what's going on, how can we fix it, etc. I know I'd mentioned in a previous video, like, hey, I've got a lot of my equipment. They asked to take a look at to see why they're seeing differences between like my copies of the guns and their copies of the guns. They've actually got back to me since and said like, hey, we don't actually need to see your detectors anymore, or sorry, your radar equipment. So okay, I've since sent it in to certification and testing. Just I think the last time I had this stuff calibrated was like 2021, so it's been about 3 years or so. So I'm like, all right, let's send it in for another round of just make sure everything's working properly. So while I'm at the show, they're going to do that, and I'll get my stuff a little while later. So just kind of working on that in the meantime. But Escort, I guess the main stuff is, one, do they have anything new? If so, obviously that'll be the big thing to cover. And number two, maybe some discussion on like what's going on with the issues in development and bugs, and just it's kind of, I think, the big news right now with Escort. Let's see. Marcavius is saying, I'm getting GPS loss on my R7. Do you have one of the newer firmwares? Or if you do, I think they actually had like a GPS error. On some of them, they actually pulled some of the firmwares. Like the R8 just got a new firmware version, 1.35, which solves some of the GPS errors that they had with 1.34. They pulled that firmware and then released a new one like a week later, 2 weeks, whatever it was, reasonably quickly. I think there's a similar one coming for the R7. So if you have like the newest firmware, especially one that's gotten pulled, I think it's 1.51 or something. I don't know. You can take a look on Unident's website. Just grab the latest public firmware, and that maybe should resolve the GPS stuff. Let's see. People discussion. Uniden working on standalone. Uniden standalone laser jammers. Yep. So that'll be interesting. Ross, First Tech will be there with new dash cams. Who's First Tech? Aren't they like a bank or a credit union or something? Is this a different First Tech? I don't have them on my list, but if they're interesting, I'd love to know more. Maybe let me know in the comments kind of like what's interesting about them, what's unique. There's CompuStar. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've taken a look at their stuff in the show. Yeah, they're usually there. Yes, you're right. They make the remote start stuff. I'm not into like remote startup stuff and stereos and alarms and stuff, but if you have those systems, yeah, it's cool if they can integrate with it. Like that's cool. Let's see. Roy Quitter. I got T-boned a few weeks ago. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. You okay? Yeah, I hope you're all right. My dash cam, the DR750, somehow corrupted the video when it happened, so there's no video of it. Has a capacitor. Okay, so that's interesting that you mentioned that, because there was an issue the other day with a Viofo dash cam. I don't know if you guys know Lifehackster. He's another YouTuber. He does like security cameras and some dash cams and stuff. And his wife got T-boned actually running a Viofo 8229 Pro, and the interior camera recorded it properly, but the front camera got corrupted and didn't save it. So he has like before the impact and then after. And we're like, whoa, what the heck happened? So like this kind of stuff sometimes happens with dash cams, and that's obviously not good, because in case of a crash, you need it to record, right? So we're having a lot of discussion on the forums of like, what's going on? Is it the way the G sensor triggered? Did a power cable come out? Is it something with the memory card? When was the last time you formatted? Yeah, okay. So you're saying that's what happened in my case. I got the video before and after. So we're like, we test this kind of stuff for parking mode, right? Like you see me punch the windshield for detecting impacts, but like testing it in driving recording as well. I had an issue years ago where I got my Miata. I first got it, and I was being a little dumb with like the stick shift in the rain, and I was like revving the engine and then shift gears and actually spun the car and hit a curb. Stupid. And anyway, like the front camera didn't record the whole thing, but the rear camera did. It was like 2 standalone dash cams. And ever since then, I've wondered like, what the heck? And it's actually kind of giving me more peace of mind of like when I'm testing dash cams, a lot of times I've got multiple. And when I'm done testing and I go back to one dash cam, I'm wondering like what happens if that one fails. I like having a second one as just a little redundancy, you know? So like this kind of stuff happens. But anyway, we've been having a lot of discussion with like Viofo, for example, with their issue with the T-bone of like, well, that guy was running a an earlier test version. Like, okay, we're going to be discussing this stuff there before I do like a full video. Right now, it's kind of our investigation and whatnot. Um, okay, he did an earlier version. Sometimes in earlier versions of dash cams, the testers get like the first batches, sometimes pre-production, sometimes production, sometimes there's issues. I've seen it with different dash cams. I've seen it with BlackVues. I've seen it with VFOs. I've seen it with Uniden radar detectors. I've seen it with Escorts. I've seen it with all sorts of stuff. Like sometimes the earlier batches have some issues that get resolved later. That is currently what we're thinking with the VFO ones. I don't know about the BlackVue. The 750 is obviously like an older dash cam that's been around for a while. If you could actually post your story on the dash cam talk forums, we've been having some discussion about that for some of the VFOs. So I'd love to hear kind of your experience and story. And if you could share like maybe a screenshot of the videos that are on the memory card as well, that can be helpful as we're kind of taking a look to see like, you know, how far before and how far after did it record. Yeah, we've been seeing some manufacturers actually having issues with that. So it's interesting that you say that with the BlackVue because I've had it with an Itronics one. The other guy, Life Hackster, it was with the VFO. So we're like, what's going on with this, you know? See, in the comments, we're asking about Thea. Redenso's not going to be at the show. Ask ALP. ALP is not going to be at the show. So no laser jammers, no Redenso. Moving on to, I guess, dash cam, since we've been talking about that. BlackVue, I don't know if they're going to have anything new. We've been talking about that a little bit. They do some like, you know, consumer grade stuff, some fleet stuff with all their like cloud and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see kind of what's going on. I know there's a firmware update that just came out yesterday or something. I saw on my phone for like reckless driving monitoring and continuous driving monitoring. A lot of times before the show, we'll see like there's an update for a new dash cam that gets pushed or something like a day or two before it gets announced. So based on that, I haven't seen anything. I've just seen firmware updates. And speaking of which, I can go ahead and start the update here for my dash cams in the car. Kind of the nice thing about over-the-air updates. So remote firmware update, just go boop and have it start updating 1.008 for the 970X Plus. So I'll just run that. But anyways, yeah, we'll have to see kind of what's going on with BlackVue. Last time it was kind of the DR970X Plus, their Starvis 2 dash cams. If they have something new like a next-gen one, obviously I'd want to take a look at that. Curious to see kind of what they've got going on. Thinkware. The main thing that I know about is their new U1000 Plus. I actually have one of those. They're for sale now. I've been testing it for a little while. I posted a video, some sample footage. I was hoping to get a review video up before SEMA, but this stuff always takes longer than I expect, and I always underestimate how long this stuff takes. I actually want to see the release notes for the BlackVue firmware update. Let me just pull it up real quick. Release notes. Yeah, let's see. Reckless driving, continuous driving, geofence speed alert. So just some minor stuff that I don't really care about, but cool they have it. I'll update the other dash cam too, the front one. So, okay. Sorry. So yeah, I guess Thinkware, they've got the U1000 Plus, some nice updates and improvements, some new features and stuff. The sensors have actually gone backwards a little bit, which is how they're adding new features and lowering the price. That's sort of where the trade-off is. But there's a lot of new features like Bluetooth. I forget off the top of my head, a bunch of other stuff as well that I'm working on for the review. Multiplexer box compatibility, improved cloud features, things. New one. Yeah. So I do think we're a dash cam. And if they have anything else new, I'd love to see like a U3000 Plus, but I haven't seen rumors of that. So we'll kind of see like what's going on with Thinkware. Vantrue, the main one of theirs that I'm interested in taking a look at. I know they have some LTE stuff that they've been working on, kind of like BlackVue's been doing, which is great. I love when dash cams put the LTE in the dash cam itself and not reliant on an external Wi-Fi hotspot. It just makes cloud connectivity so much better. So I want to take a look at that. And then they also have the E360 dash cam, which is, it's like a box with two fisheye lenses facing forward and backwards. And the idea is it gives you like 360, you know, front and inside the cabin and stuff. So I'd like to take a look at that one. It's available for sale now. They even offer it with like a stick, like an Insta360, if you guys know those ones, or the GoPro Maxes and stuff, to let you do like walk around like an action cam or something, which is kind of interesting. But it's sort of like an Insta360 dash cam for the car. It looks like Starvis 2, IMX, like a 2K sensor, IMX 675 for both front and rear is, I believe, what it is. So take a look at kind of how that works. That one is interesting. I like these 360 cams on principle, just something interesting other than just like a box that you stick on the windshield and it records and yay, you know. So just nice to see something a little bit creative. There's a couple of manufacturers actually who I know of who are working on 360 stuff. So That'll definitely be something I'd want to take a look at. Vuroid, they've been not really well known, but they've been, it seems like, making some dash cams that have some pretty reasonable features and design and quality. So I'd like to take a closer look at their stuff. I haven't had a chance to test their like IMX 678 flagship model yet, the 4K Starvis 2 competitor to the BlackVues and Thinkwares and Viofos and all that stuff. But I'd like to go take a closer look at that. I've heard some good things from some of the early testing. Nextbase, they had their IQ, that like super feature packed one. I did a video interviewing some of the people who helped build it, but like all the reviews on it are pretty bad. The sample footage they sent me was really not impressive. So I just never gotten around to like investing the time to testing it and reviewing it. At this point, I'm not trying to spend time testing stuff that doesn't work well. I just have this much time and this many things. I've got behind the chair a whole stack of dash cams that I still need to test and review. And I've got more stuff that's in the mail already, like as we speak. And like it's a lot. I got more in the car that right now I'm still working on. So it's just, I try to spend my time testing the stuff that's the very best, that's awesome. You know, I'm not trying to do like videos on here's why you should avoid buying one of 10,000 awful dash cams that are out there. I just want to focus on the best ones. So anyways, there was the Nextbase IQ. Seems like I had a lot of issues. The reviews were not that good. So I know there's been far more updates and stuff, but not impressive. They've just come out with like a smaller dash cam, kind of like the Garmin Mini. I think it's like 1440p, super small. I've been reading some of the reviews on the Dashcam Talk forum. So maybe take a look at that. That could be an interesting one. Garmin, by the way, actually just released an updated version of their mini dash cam, the Mini 3. Some minor changes to, I think, like the mount. I believe it's still 1080p, but for like a super tiny dash cam. Again, I haven't spent the time like to review that one yet either, but just another interesting one to take a look at. And I guess the Nextbase one is a competitor. They've got a 1080p version and a 1440p one. So maybe at some point, if I have the time, I'll compare like the Garmin and the Nextbase and something just to do like a mini dash cam shootout. There's Riding. They're the ones who did like the rear view mirror dash cams that have like the flip down 360 cam. So you could like point it forward, you could point it down to have it record all the way around. And then you do like a rear camera as well. So they're there as well. I don't know what they have new, but we'll take a look. CarMate. They also do a lot of 360 models. They do some pretty interesting and creative stuff. I've done a whole video just talking about like their whole lineup before. I've covered them in my video on like dedicated 360-degree dash cam. So I've talked about them a couple times. I definitely want to stop by there and see if they have anything different, anything new. Their model names are always kind of tough to remember, like RA 4000 something or whatever. But definitely want to take a look and see if they have any new designs, high resolution or more features or whatever. GoPro's on the list. I've got my list here that I just pulled up of like all the exhibitors at the show. Nothing dash cam specific necessarily. They're probably just going to have like the current models. What is the Hero 13 Black and then just the Hero, like the dedicated smaller one. So I'm guessing it'll be that. They don't usually announce new stuff at SEMA. They'll usually do that on YouTube and stuff. I believe they announced the 13 a little while ago. So yeah, just take a look at kind of what they're doing. I probably won't do a video on it. Maybe if I do like a summary video, be like, here's GoPro and here's their GoPros, but like I doubt it's anything relevant to us. But like I shoot GoPros. I'm considering changing over to something like DJI or something else that has better high heat tolerance. Maybe the newer ones do a better job with some of the loop recording and stuff. So some of the stabilization I'd like to see improvements on. I think I shoot on the 9s or the 11s or what are they? I shoot on the 9s. So they're on 13s now. So the newer ones, I mean, it's been a couple generations. So let's see what else. Atoto. I looked at some of their stuff. Nothing particularly impressive. Another dash cam brand. Probably will be one of the ones that I look at. And I'm just like, cool. Okay. FineVue. I usually kind of overlook them as well. They do some stuff. I think they usually advertise like good reliability, which is definitely, I guess, important, especially considering some of the issues we've been seeing. I know we mentioned earlier with like the BlackVue T-boned and no recording, or the Viofo one. Like that kind of stuff is really hard to test. We can simulate it, try to like hit the windshield or something, but like in an actual crash, do you want to be like testing it by whacking your dash cam hard? Like how do you reliably and repeatably simulate that stuff? A sideways impact on a front one. Like sometimes it's hard to actually test that. I don't want to actually go crash my car for obvious reasons. So like figuring out how do you simulate that and test it can be kind of tricky, but obviously that's important. I believe FineVue is known for either like high heat stuff or reliability. I think reliability. Specs wise, they're usually not like the latest and greatest. So from a feature standpoint, I'm kind of overlooking them. But as long as they have a minimum baseline of like buffered parking recording, nice sensor selection, HDR, just like the standard stuff that I look for, I feel like these days I'm kind of prioritizing more and more reliability because like the latest and greatest, bleeding edge specs is awesome. But if the dash cam doesn't record in case of a crash, who cares? So tough to like really test this, but I know that's important too. And then finally, there's always going to be 1,001 different dash cam companies that are there. A lot of them are no-name brands, just Me Too dash cams. Some of them are just like white label where they just make a bunch of them for other companies, for OEM car manufacturers or for somebody else who wants to make them. So yeah, just a lot of companies. So if there's anything interesting, I know sometimes you see dash cams that are made specifically for bicycles, for example. Like if there's anything cool and unique like that, I'll do a video of just like, hey, here's all the interesting dash cams that I saw. It'd be like a compilation video. But that's kind of a list as far as things that I'm expecting to see. As far as what's kind of like on the exhibitor list, there's always going to be more stuff to discover, as I'm like walking around the show. Luckily, it seems like most people, all the radar detector and dash cam companies are going to be in the North Hall, which is really nice. And yes, Peter, I am reading the comments. I'll just kind of get to it in a little bit. I do read all the comments, but I kind of have to like prioritize what I'm talking about without breaking up the flow. And then I kind of move on to the comments. But yeah, I'll kind of get in there. I think there's one about like the Viofo N4 Pro, talk about firmware versions and reviewing different versions. So like there's a lot of stuff that I'll definitely get into, but I'm just kind of running through right now first, the stuff that's at the show. So anyways, the last thing, a lot of different dash cam companies. If there's anything interesting, I'll kind of like cover that as well. But as far as like the main places to post it, social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, website, vortexradar.com, and the forums will be kind of like the next level when I want to post more information and sit down. And then finally, like the full reviews will be, I'll do my best to get that stuff probably at night when I'm back at the hotel, cranking up the videos. And then a little while later after the show, because I'm going to be celebrating my son's birthday when I get back from the show. So that's why I'm kind of wanting to do more stuff that's written this year, just because of time constraints. So anyways, let's see. There's questions about the Viofo N4 Pro. I believe there was a firmware update for, that was for a Rove dash cam. I've been seeing some stuff. I think my main concern with the Viofos, like the N4 Pro, is the really long delays for parking recording. Like they'll advertise buffered impact recording, but it takes like 11 seconds or 13 seconds for it to like wake up and start recording. But that would be non-buffered. There's something I think with the Viofos, and there's like even a quick mode, but that's still slow. So yeah, there is something about the Viofos. Like I like them. I think the video quality is pretty good. I like to have HDR, but there's something about it specifically that I don't remember off the top of my head, unfortunately, that kind of makes me lean towards Viofo overall. Chris, help me hardwire the R4. No, man, I get people to help me hardwire too. Go to like a Best Buy or a Car Toys or a stereo installer in your area. Like if you're not comfortable doing the install, like go to a pro. I mean, that's what I do. Like I do video reviews. I don't do installations and stuff. So let's see, big N5 and N4 Pro. I typically prefer the N4 Pro. It's actually a 4K Starvis 2 dash cam up front. The N5 is a 2K sensor up front. And the benefit of the N5 is like you have two interior cabin cameras. I don't really find like the second rear cabin camera to be all that useful. I've done a video talking about like the 360-degree dash cams. If you search my channel, you'll find that. So talk about the N5 there, but like I haven't found that one to be too useful. I prefer having like one cabin camera and then 4K up front. I think that's a better balance. So I would go for the N4 Pro, but if you really want a rear cabin camera to record the people in the back of the car, the back of their heads, or like your trunk area or something cool, I guess. Curtis, watch your first video 9 years ago. It's been a while. Yeah, I think 2012 was when I first started making YouTube videos. I'm just still at it. My old videos, I was in my 20s, I guess, at this point. Now I'm 40, starting to get some gray hair and stuff. So I've been doing this a little while. But let's see, Douglas, testing dash cam reliability. Got to start with the theory of why it's failing. So we've been having a lot of discussion about this. There's a lot of speculation and possibilities on what it could be. Is it like there's a lot of stuff? There's a lot of possibilities. Cable getting removed. Is it hardware glitch? Is it the G sensor having not saving a read-only file properly? Is there some sort of corruption that's happening? Is it Like, I don't know. Is it the card getting shaken inside the camera? Is it some firmware issue? Is it a hardware issue with like an earlier sample, but it happens to retail ones too? Like, I don't know. Is it maybe the type of connector can cause the mount or the cable to slightly shake or disconnect? Like, there's a lot of possibilities of what it could be. And like, just saying like, oh, I got in a crash and didn't record is obviously important, but I think we need like really good information to like troubleshoot the stuff and figure out exactly what's going on, which is what you're saying, to figure out like what it is so that we can resolve it. Or if there's a hardware issue that can't be fixed, be like, hey, by the way, in case this happens, here's what's going on. Excuse me. And yeah, there's not really a fix for it. So like, I think we have to spend some time kind of understanding what caused the issue to figure out what to do about it. And yeah, that's tough. That can be really tough, especially trying to like replicate it in an uncontrolled environment. Let's see. Peter, Uniden's offering a lot of sales the last month or so. I wonder if they're clearing out inventory for new models. Maybe, but they've been doing sales for a while now. And their prices kind of fluctuate all over the place. Sometimes you see stuff on like Sam's Club or on Amazon or on their website. They don't really do Black Friday stuff. They just do random sales all the time. So like, kind of tough to say. I don't know. I haven't seen anything that's like, hey, SEMA's coming up. We're right about to announce a new model. Let's do a big sale right before, or like even Prime Day. There wasn't anything really for that. So I don't know. Let's see. Uniden R8 Wi-Fi model, R9. Yep, we talked about that at the beginning. There should be an R8W. I don't know if there's going to be an R9W. That would be tougher to do, to like swap out a custom installed CPU compared to a windshield mount detector. So curious to see like how they approach that. Let's see. Reliability concerns. Has the A329 proven to be reliable in the short time it's out? That takes time. I've seen some people actually report that the A329 runs hotter than the 229 Pro, which is the exact opposite of what I found in my testing. So like, we're all still testing that kind of stuff, So like, I can give you my experiences based on what I've seen, but like, I haven't, knock on wood, been on a crash with mine. It's getting colder now. So like, we're getting into the rainy season, it's cooling off. So like, I can't test as much of the overheating stuff. So that's just kind of one of the things with long-term reliability. It takes time, And so, yeah, like you said, it's only been out a short time. So even if stuff has been out for a while, it's like, okay, are we going to be able to see the issues? Is somebody going to counter the issue? And then if they have it, is it a one-off failure or is it a repeatable thing? So yeah, that stuff is very important, but I don't know of a good way to like find that out, especially early on. That just kind of takes time, and it's just us sharing our experiences overall, Let's see. Douglas, coming back to the dash cam not recording in case of an impact. Corruption of the file is usually or always a failure to sync or finish the file right. That's why I was assuming power. Yeah, but what was interesting, the one in the Viofo, for example, the interior camera recorded the whole thing. The front camera did not. So the camera was still powered on. And I think it had like the front camera had the audio, but not the video. The video froze, but the audio continued to record. And it's just like, that's weird. So like something happened with the right itself, even though the camera itself was still on and otherwise functioning. So weird, like I agree with you. My first thought was like, oh, a cable got unplugged or something, or just it was a little bit loose. And then, afterwards it kind of settled back in and then the dash cam powered back on. So like, that was my initial thought as well, but that doesn't seem to be what's happening. So that's, I guess, where a lot of the like investigation and troubleshooting comes in. Curtis, if they can add Bluetooth to the R4 and R8, why can't they just add Wi-Fi to the existing units? It's a hardware change. To add Wi-Fi, just like with the Escorts. I mean, if it doesn't have Wi-Fi built in, you have to release a new detector that has Wi-Fi as well. Bluetooth can offer some functionality. Wi-Fi, the file transfers are a lot faster. So, I mean, obviously you can connect to like a external Wi-Fi hotspot and add a bunch of stuff without having to go through the phone, which can be more reliable. It's faster, like over-the-air updates, transferring files over Wi-Fi is a lot faster than transferring over Bluetooth. Look at like an AOP over-the-air update, that's really slow to transfer over Bluetooth. The BlackVue ones, you can transfer it over Bluetooth, I believe. Or no, that's a Wi-Fi connection because that's pretty fast. I think the Vantrue over the air is over Wi-Fi. So like a lot of times you're doing Wi-Fi stuff for speed, like streaming video, you're usually doing over Wi-Fi. So, and of course there's the comments. Eli, Thea at SEMA. Nope. I posted about it on the forums and no Red Enso this year. I can understand them not coming. Evidently, they've been going to some other shows, but they haven't been to SEMA in a couple years now, understandably. And I don't see them on the exhibitor list for this year. Peter, how do you think R8 Wi-Fi will differ from the companion app? I like the app for things like alert logging and make it easier to change settings. I guess I'm going to have to go back and look at like the Escort, right? Because that's already a known thing. It offers both Bluetooth and Wi-Fi versions, and Escort has their own apps where Uniden does not. But like the biggest advantage of the Escort is the over-the-air updates. I also really like the speed limit display. And then the cloud stuff is meh. Not hasn't been super like useful. Just Waze is there's so many more people that use it that like Waze is just way more helpful in practice, even though it's like tick. We got the cloud stuff or the Escort stuff. So like over the air updates and then speed limit display are my biggest ones. So if Uniden also wants to access a speed limit display, that could be cool. Maybe over the air updates might be one of the biggest ones. And that could actually be pretty nice because Uniden's firmware update process is traditionally probably the worst out of any manufacturer. Just like even the Mac update software, it's currently broken. And I have a beta version of the Mac update software, which they still haven't released, that restores compatibility with the Uniden and R series detectors, but they have to release that. And there's always issues with people not being able to update their detectors properly or get the latest firmwares or just. So I'm hoping that if nothing else, they at least do the over-the-air updates to simplify that process for people and make it easier. Maybe we have Bluetooth, maybe release their own Bluetooth app and give us like app updates as well, or over the air over Wi-Fi. That could be nice too, just to ease the Uniden software stuff that they, for whatever reason, continue to struggle with. So let's see. Jay Dallas, thanks for recommending Viofo. Do you have a recommendation for a dash cam with a rear camera and continuous record when parked? I mean, I like the BlackVues and the Thinkwares for the parking recording, but that changes. I used to really like the BlackVues because the cloud stuff worked really well in parking recording and because it did a really good job with impact notifications. They've stripped out some of the granular controls on like telling you when your car gets hit by an impact, hit and run when your car was parked. It's kind of like all or nothing now. I don't know why they've removed that feature. It's so nice if I could have just somebody hit your car while you were parked, but stay quiet otherwise. You can't do that anymore. They've also stripped out some of the what's it called? Some of the Wi-Fi stuff. It's not as good as it used to be. And so it's kind of gone backwards. So I like the parking recording, but some of the notifications and the cloud stuff is not as good as it used to be. Thinkware is I like some of their parking stuff, specifically for the low power radar assisted stuff. So like I've got one in the car. I mean, that'll record for like a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something, whereas most dash cams die in like a day. So for the really long-term stuff, to get you the low power extended parking recording for like motion detecting and impact detecting and stuff, I like the Thinkwares for that specifically. Sorry, I'm talking a lot. My throat's getting dry. I'll drink water here. So I like the Thinkwares for that. But it depends. Like, I guess if you're street parked, like in downtown, you got your car parked for over a long weekend or for a week or something, you want to record the whole time, that might be the way to go as one of the Thinkwares. Let's see. Dennis, are Uniden betas public? Unfortunately not. They did send it to me, but I don't send stuff out for beta unless they're like, hey, we want to open this up to everybody. Sometimes there are other issues that are discovered down the line or something that doesn't work well. That's the whole point of beta testing, right? To see if the stuff works. Can't catch everything, but like at least test some of the basics to see if it works. So there are still some changes that I found with the latest Mac beta that it doesn't support all the new features in like 1.35, for example. So the update software has to be updated to support the latest updates for their windshield mount detectors. But at least the connectivity stuff works. So development stuff. Peter, Wolfbox is another good dash cam. They're one of the fake 4K dash cams, and on principle, I don't like that. They did release, I think, what is it, like the G900 or something, their Starvis 2 rearview mirror dash cam, 4K. Excuse me. They just did that like the next ago. So they just released one that came out, I don't know, like a few weeks ago or a month ago or something. So they now have one as well. So I'm happy to see that they have a real 4K and not like just another fake 4K model. I'm not a huge rearview mirror dash cam guy, but I'm glad to see that at least they're starting to release some actual 4K dash cams because they're a pretty notorious fake 4K dash cam company. G900 Pro. Yeah, that's the one. Ross, the low power parking mode is where first deck cams are coming in clutch. They aren't available over the counter. It's just a dealer only camera. Yeah, yeah. I'm glad to see a lot more companies now working on that. I remember at SEMA last year, there were at least 3 or 4 companies that working on like radar assisted parking recording. Like that's not a Thinkware exclusive feature. So I was pretty happy to see that. It's again just time constraints. I haven't had a chance to test some of them. Of course, I've gotten the emails of like, "Hey, Vortex, can you test this and that?" And I'm like, "Sorry, time when?" So trying, but yes, there's definitely other companies that are working on like the radar stuff specifically in conjunction with the low power stuff, which I think is a nice kind of like a pairing there. They go well together. I had someone, thanks. Yeah, I don't need more dash cams right now. I could thanks for the offer, but I don't need more dash cams. This is like my email right now. It's every day. No thanks, no thanks, no time. Thanks. But like but thank you. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that. Um let's see. Curtis, any video with SEMA this year at Uniden? I haven't been to SEMA yet. SEMA starts tomorrow. So I'll be there. And I mean Uniden is like the one that I want to kind of prioritize first, just because like I'm excited about the R8W and R4W, and at least based on what I've seen from a lot of the companies, that's one of the things that I want to see first. So uh yeah, I'll definitely take a look at that tomorrow. Just fly up there, grab some probably breakfast at like the airport or something, fly down there and just like straight to the Airbnb, drop off bags if I need, and then just I switch around my bags and stuff, and go. So yeah, right after this, I need to start packing. So grabbing, the camera, which just off camera, but like right over there, grab the camera, the mics, the batteries, the cables, the chargers, the tripods, the panning heads, chapstick for my lips because Vegas is dry. So just starting to grab all the stuff, clothes, of course. I've been switching microphones lately because SEMA can be really loud. They have a lot of companies there with like the huge speakers, and they like to crank them up in the middle of interviews and stuff just to show off how loud they are and get attention. So it like completely destroys the audio. And so I've been upgrading mics that can handle like higher volume levels and stuff. So that should be good. Room, yeah. No, yeah, clean office. Yeah, I've been cleaning it just because like I have a lot of stuff tucked behind there, out of sight, and getting ready to pack and stuff. But all my I don't know if you can see it. Well, it's not on camera right now, but a lot of the radar guns that are normally sitting right here, they're all gone. So I've been reorganizing things. A lot of the lights, which you can't see, but they're like right down there. I was using them for Halloween. Just putting around the house, like I would kind of aim it at out a window like that to make the whole window glow red. Or orange or yellow and different colors. So like you see the house from the outside, it's like glowing from within. So it's repurposing my video lights. And so I've just been kind of like cleaning stuff up and rearranging things after Halloween too. So it's been fun, but yeah. So let's see. Happy birthday to your son. Thank you. Yeah. He's turning 3. So looking forward to it. He's starting to talk more. He's mostly sleeping through the night now, which is amazing. It's great. So Halloween was a lot of fun. They're at the age now where like they don't need to be in strollers. They're happy to go run around trick or treating, and just run up to different houses and look through the baskets and to find the candy that they want, and then check out the decorations and all the ghosts. We've been talking about what mummies are and are they real and vampires and zombies and all that. So it's been fun. Just this age is a lot of fun. Kids are 3 and 5 now, so it's definitely a fun age for trick or treating. So. See, so that's kind of some of the main stuff that I wanted to go over as far as the show. I'll be doing my best, as I mentioned before, to get stuff up as quick as I can. For the sake of time, I'll be doing, I think, more written stuff this time around. So again, social media, website, forums, that's where we'll be posting it. And then videos when I can. And other than that, I think that's the main stuff for now. So time for me to get packing here. 2 o'clock my time. Yeah, so start packing up, grabbing my camera gear, make sure all the batteries are charged, grabbing some clothes, laundry, all that good stuff, and getting to it. So anyways, that's it for now. Thanks for hanging out and chatting SEMA. Yeah, stay tuned. I'll see you guys later. Bye, everyone.